What did you think about Walker going to the Jaguars?
Well, I thought it was a reach, quite honestly. The best player in this draft was Kyle Hamilton, and everybody knows that a safety is not going to go number one overall. And then there's Aiden Hutchinson as well. Like, why are you not taking the best pass rusher in this class? I mean, he's a great edge defender. He's a great run defender, got really good length. Going Travon Walker without all of the productivity, and even the productivity that he did have was false productivity, in my opinion. I mean, 49% of his sacks over the course of his career were from single coverage or from covered sacks alone. Like, he just is not that kind of a player. Now, I do like the pick because, I mean, if you're going to go and get your guy, go and get your guy. Versatile. He can play it inside just a little bit. You slide him down inside to the 5 technique. He likes to play off the edge with his hand in the dirt. But, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can go with a Travon Walker that it makes a little bit of sense. However, I mean, to me, he was a top 10 player, but he's not the top 1 player.
John, what did you think about Aiden Hutchinson going number 2 to the Lions?
Perfect scheme fit. Exactly what Dan Campbell wants in a player. If you remember last year when the Lions, hired Dan Campbell in his first press conference, he talked about, we're going to go out there and we're going to bite some kneecaps off, and that's Aiden Hutchinson. He's a big hustle player. But to kind of go to piggyback a little bit off of Lance, I don't think Aiden would have worked very well in Jacksonville because he's more of a 3-4 rush edge. You want to stand him up and run him after the passer. And Doug Peterson's going to be running more of a 4-man front, which is going to call for 2 traditional defensive ends. I would have gone Kayvon Thibodeau there, but they thought that Travon was better. Travon's very good with his lower and upper body being synced together, so that if he has one of those in the right spot, he can use the other to get in and make a play. So I like that. But going back to Aiden, awesome pick for them. It couldn't be a better story. And he's going to be very productive for them, I think.
Travis, what did you think about Derek Stingley? A lot of people were interested to see what the Texans were going to do in round number 1 at number 3. Some people thought, and there were stories coming out with Sauce, maybe going after an offensive lineman like Iquanu. What did you think when you heard Derek Stingley's name come up?
It's not a surprise. I mean, we saw a lot of the early first round be high pedigree, top tier athletes. And Derek Stingley, again, no surprise. Coming out of high school, he was like a top 5 player in the entire country in his class. And as a true freshman, just dominated in the SEC, looking like one of the best corners in the nation at age 18. And he struggled with health this last year and the year before even. And so maybe there's some questions in the short term about maybe even long term with his health, but the skill set has always been there. I mean, forever. I mean, dating back to 77 days. I mean, like, we've known Derek Stingley was going to go pro. I mean, he could have gone pro, honestly, as a wide receiver had he gone that route at LSU as well. So he's just a freak athlete. And if you want to get the best upside kind of corner in a pretty good corner class, Derek Stingley was the pick. So that was not a surprise for me. I know you like to see a player trending up rather than trending down. But I have no doubts when it comes to Derek Stingley's talent.
As everybody knows, we're talking to our draft panel. Lance Sanderson from Mile High Huddle, Travis May from Rotoviz, John Vogel from Football Sapient, and Ray Cotto from All 22. Ray, what did you think about the Jets? Obviously, Roger Goodell going up there and using Sauce's name. I mean, it's Ahmed Gardner. I was very surprised he read out his name, Sauce. What did you think about Sauce going to the New York Jets at number 4?
Yeah, I think really the weakest spot on the Jets roster heading into the draft night was for sure the secondary. I think it was an easy selection to really shore that up. It's definitely the safer option in relation to Derek Stingley. I do think Stingley has that upside, right? You see, there's questions about his foot, whereas Gardner's definitely more steady. He's got the length you're looking for, that quiet confidence about him, has that streak of not giving up a touchdown. If you're facing Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle twice a year, I'm not sure that's going to last for another 3 years, but, definitely just a really solid, steady option, and just was a gaping hole for the Jets to really fill. So, you definitely can't hate the process or the pick there. Makes a ton of sense. And, sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, it makes sense. Don't screw it up. And, I think they did the right thing there.
Lance, what are your thoughts? Obviously, the Giants going at 5. A lot of people thought they were going offensive line at 5. There were stories coming out that they were very interested in Charles Cross. They had him over there in, MetLife Stadium. They were working him out as the right tackle and left tackle, but it fell right, and Kayvon Thibodeau was sitting there. What were your thoughts, them going with a pass rusher at 5 and not an offensive lineman?
So I think that they actually played the board right here because the offensive linemen were still falling. You didn't get Aquanu, you didn't get Neal, you didn't get Charles Cross at the number 3 overall pick. So you knew that one of those 3 players was still going to get to you at the number 7 overall pick. So to go and get who was arguably the best pass rusher in this class, a freak athlete, the length, the strength, the ability to play against the run, obviously the bend and the athleticism, is to get him at 5. It's a smart move there because you don't know what the Panthers are going to do at number 6 overall. So to get Kayvon and then to wait for Neal to fall to you at number 7, that to me was a great move.
But being that Aquanu was still on the board, a lot of people thought he was a top 3 pick. Aquanu was the best offensive lineman going into this draft. I mean, Evan Neal 5 months ago was, but his knee problems, there were stories coming out 2 weeks ago that his knees aren't 100% healthy. They don't know where he's going to be going into the season. But Aquanu was sitting there at 5. Why don't you draft Aquanu and take a chance? Did anybody think Kayvon Thibodeau was going to be, somebody was going to trade up for Kayvon Thibodeau? I would have went Aquanu number 5 and then waited for, obviously, Kayvon Thibodeau at number 7. Then you would have gotten the best offensive lineman and arguably the 2nd or 3rd best pass rusher in this year's draft.
I guess the biggest thing to me would be the fit. Where do you play Aquanu? Is he a tackle? Is he a guard? I think that he was the best tackle in this class, and I would have put him at the right side for sure, and then maybe take another look at Mekhi Becton on the left side. Or excuse me, I've got the wrong team here.
Thomas.
Regardless, Andrew Thomas. Excuse me. So I would have taken a look there. But is it the scheme fit there? And what do you view Kayvon Thibodeau? What is the pass rush like in with the Giants? Like they needed to have that pass rusher and to have somebody trade up. Maybe the Atlanta Falcons were in a potential trade up scenario there. Who knows about the New Orleans Saints at that particular point, whether they want to come and get an edge rusher. There's a lot of different variables that go into play there, and to get that next best edge rusher off the board and not risk him falling to number 7, like that was the right move.
John, were you surprised that Ikem Aquanu went to number 6 to the Carolina Panthers? By the way, when he got his name called up, he didn't look very happy that he was going to Carolina. I mean, a lot of people said he didn't look happy. Maybe I was just reading a different kind of face. I don't know, but he didn't look happy when he went up there with the Carolina Panthers hat. What were your thoughts that Carolina went with arguably the best offensive lineman in this year's draft? And were you surprised that he wasn't happy going to Carolina?
Well, was it so much that he wasn't happy, or was he all business? That's
I think
kind
it
of
was more that
because he's very much a very all business kind of guy, and you get around guys like him, and Jalen Hurts is like this, and players like that where they're just so focused on business and getting it done that they don't share joy. If he was a quarterback and he was getting interviewed after games, he could have had the greatest game in the world and he still would have been beating himself up over his mistakes. That's who he is. I think Carolina got it right. That you didn't reach for the quarterback, which was a good thing because there was no point in taking a quarterback at 6. There's no upgrade. At least it was obvious over Sam Darnold in this class. Take the offensive tackle, build that up, and he can, people talk about him having some versatility. I guess I could see that a little bit. He doesn't have much experience playing on the right side, so I think he's going to play on the left. But no, get it right. Build the trenches. That's where you're going to win football games.
Travis, I see that you want to piggyback on this one. What did you think?
Well, Icky's actually from Charlotte, so it was his team. So he definitely wasn't disappointed to go there. I think I can't remember where it was. He was even talking about being interested in going to the Panthers. So I don't think that's what it is at all. I'm right there with you. With the he's just all business. Like he just wants to take it in, and I don't even know how I would react. Like if you think about it, like when your name's officially called, you're in Las Vegas, you're dressed nicer than you have been in your entire life, and I'm not sure how I would react in that moment. So
I don't want my offensive tackle to look
keep
happy.
it a cool head. Yeah,
let him look mean. That's
you got to. Yeah, I mean, you gotta look cool, right? I mean, like you know the cameras are on you. You got to look like you've been there before, even though you definitely haven't.
Ray, Kayvon Thibodeau doesn't want your team's offensive tackles to look happy.
No, he doesn't. But I don't know if we want to get there now or later. But he's still a young pup, and Tyron Smith, probably knows a thing or two. He'll probably show him it while he's still a youngin' in the league. So we'll get there.
I want to piggyback on. I want to piggyback on Aquana really fast.
Absolutely.
Like you're talking about one of the most intelligent players in the class. He had college scholarship offers to Harvard and Yale, and also to like Stanford. Like, this guy is an incredibly intelligent player. He knows what the business of football is, and for him to go out there and just be stone cold sober about being drafted in the top 5 of the top 6, I guess, in the NFL draft. Like, for him, that's a big deal. Like, he understands we have to be all business or all professional. Like, that doesn't surprise me for him to do that.
So, Travis, what did you think? Evan Neal falling to the Giants at number 7. A lot of people were very surprised that he was sitting there at 7. Maybe the story's coming out the last 2 weeks saying that his knees aren't 100%, that's why he lost all that weight. So what were your thoughts of Evan Neal going to the Giants at number 7?
I think that was the no-brainer pick once you got that far with Evan Neal. I mean, if you want to nitpick and pick apart like a few reps against LSU, a few reps against Georgia, and I think some people knocked him even like against Miami in week 1. It almost looked like he was playing lazy or something, a couple snaps, whatever. I've heard some weird takes when it comes to Evan Neal. The truth is he's a monstrous human being who's 6'8", 340, and coming out of high school, he was like he was listed at 360, but he was heavier. And so like he's just a freak of a human being who shouldn't even be able to move like he does. And so just from an upside play, versatility play, strength play, pedigree, everything coming from the program that sends the most draft picks to the NFL. It seemed like a no-brainer going. And I am surprised he didn't go ahead of Icky. I know Icky, I mean, like, he's really good. But I think even like coming into the process, he was like a 3-star because, he just doesn't look the part necessarily, but he's just a monster. So they're both incredible, but I was a little surprised that Evan Neal went to 7.
As everybody knows, we have our draft panel on with the Sports Loudmouths. We're talking to Lance Sanderson from Mile High Huddle, Travis May from Rotoviz, John Vogel from Football Sapient, and Ray Cotto from All 22. Mr. Ray, Drake London is the first wide receiver off the board. Not surprising. What were your thoughts of him going to the Atlanta Falcons?
The Falcons really go to the beat of their own drum usually on draft night. I had Garrett Wilson as my top guy. Falcons really don't care what anyone else thinks whenever they draft, whether it's just passing on CD and taking Terrell, and that seemed to actually be working out pretty well for them. They just had such a gaping hole at receiver, so many needs. I mean, I guess if he's their number 1 guy, go ahead and take him. I don't hate London. I think he separates better than he's given credit for and what people think based off of his size and things of that nature. But, to me, I think Wilson was clearly my number 1 receiver. But go ahead and take London. I mean, I think they're going to be pretty down for a while there until they really address quarterback position and really shore up that roster. It's going to take a couple years either way. So, if they feel he has more upside or whatever the case may be, then go ahead and take it. There was no quarterback there that really made sense. So don't reach for one. If you have to just sort of ride it out with Mariota and then, go ahead and do what you got to do. So, not what I would have selected, but I don't hate it. I don't hate them for kind of sticking to their guns like they usually do.
John, I think it was you when we had you on the show. You had some concerns with London. Was that the right move, you think?
I'm right there with Ray that Garrett Wilson was the best wide receiver in this class. I definitely had some concerns with London, and it's not just, the injury history and everything, but it's just more, everybody talks about him being a contested catch machine. I just didn't see that. He caught under 50% of his contested targets while in college, especially this past year. And he had some issues with drops. I believe he dropped, it was like an 8% rate last year alone before he got hurt. So yeah, he's putting up monster numbers, but he's a volume guy. You have to throw him the ball a lot, and he's great after the catch. I just didn't see a lot of the stuff that people were talking about with him.